Hi guys, so today I'm going to be showing you this picture here. This picture is of Mount Denali, formerly known as Mount McKinley. It is the tallest mountain in North America and is located in Alaska. I took a trip to Alaska with my family a few years ago and got to see this gorgeous mountain. This trip was kind of a mess though. We arrived at the airport in Alaska at about 3 a.m. in the morning and we weren't able to get a hotel room that night. We did have a rent-a-car, so that's where we slept. It was very cold and very uncomfortable. There were 3 of us in the car, so it's not like you could have sprawled out in the back seat or tipped your chair all the way back. So I didn't get much sleep that night. But the next morning is when we went to go see this mountain right here. It was the perfect day to go see it. The skies were blue, it was clear, it was a little chilly, but it was a good temperature. And we went to the national park that this is at, and we all got on a bus, and it took about 4 hours to get to this mountain. The ride to the mountain was a whole trip in itself. It was very nerve-wracking and extraordinary. I've never done anything like it. I was thinking that it would be just a normal bus ride, but it wasn't. It was pretty scary, to be honest. We had to go on really thin and narrow paths, and we were up really high, and you looked over the edge and all you see was this huge drop. And not only were we a big bus on this narrow path, we also had to pass other buses. So one would be coming our way and we'd be going this way. And I always felt better when we were on the inside, but that didn't happen super often. It felt like we were always the outside bus. And the curves that it had to take, it wasn't a straight path by any means. But the whole bus ride wasn't bad. We got to see lots of wildlife. We got to see things such as moose, elk, wolves, bears. Really, anywhere you looked, in any direction, there was something amazing to see. And I've never seen such a wide area of nature that is totally untouched. No electrical poles, buildings, nothing. Pretty much just a road that paves a way to this mountain. And like I said, this was a 4-hour bus ride. By the time we got there, I was ready to be done pretty much. It was so long. I'm not a huge fan of long car rides, but it was definitely worth it. Getting to see that mountain is something that I will never forget. And like I said, we were really lucky because the day that we went, the skies were blue, it was a clear day, and a lot of people aren't as fortunate as we were. A lot of the times when people go to see this mountain, it's hardly visible because since it's up so high, it generates its own clouds and surrounds itself. Photographers come all over from around the world to take pictures of this mountain, and a lot of the times they don't get to see it because it's surrounded in clouds. And honestly, I didn't even really know that mountains could make their own clouds before I went on this trip. It taught me a lot of things, especially that I am very fortunate that I got to see this. And we only went for 4 hours, but you could also go further and get closer. I believe the longest you could go was 8 hours. But like I said, we were so exhausted from sleeping in the car the night before, and it was already so spectacular from what we saw. And it was only a 4-hour bus ride up there. So we also had to have a 4-hour bus ride back, which was still really amazing. It seemed like every minute there was something new to see that was crossing the road or bears up in the mountains, and it was really neat. Luckily, other people had binoculars with. We weren't smart enough to bring any, but other people let us use theirs, so that was really nice. And I've been on a lot of trips, but this one was definitely my favorite. The scenery was unreal. I have never experienced anything like this. So if you haven't been to Alaska, I would definitely recommend going to see this mountain.